All right. So yeah, that is my name. I'm Roel. I'm a designer myself, I guess, like most of you guys. This event is called UX Beers. I am a UX designer, but not only a UX designer. I work at Monkshot as a UI UX designer. UI is my main job. Next to that, I'm a freelance print and brand designer. As a student, I followed the graphic design course, so it's basically the more general terms of design. And then as a volunteer, I am a musician in an orchestra, where I also do the brand design and stage design. So it's a really broad aspect of design. To start my talk about being lazy or being smart, let's keep that in the middle for now. I would start at my school time. Okay. So it started for me here at the Sint Luciardi School. I really liked the logo even then. At first sight, everything was perfect. I was a toddler. I was very good at playing, drawing, painting, all stuff like that. All good. It was all good until I needed to learn to write and read. Because I rather just wanted to keep drawing, painting, stuff like that. And this is the very moment my bad experience with school started in general. And to illustrate that, I looked up my school result, or my very first school result. Voila. Basically setting Roel's writing is inaccurate. He often leaves out letters or parts of them. And he can do a lot better. Actually, 15 out of 20, I don't think it's that bad. I would kill for that later, but okay. So my writing is a problem. Anyone knows what this is? So they fixed me this tool as a 5 or 6 year old. It's basically a plastic dolphin. It's a writing aid to help you hold your pencil the right way to write. And you need to stick your pencil anally into the dolphin like this. And then it forces you to hold your pencil the right way. So this was gonna help me to write a lot better. Sadly, not the result we all hoped for, because the next result was Roel is pushing way too hard on his pencil. He's taking everything way too easy, and his work attitude needs to change. So after 6 years of struggling, it was crystal clear that art school would be my thing. So I started at St. Lucas Antwerp, full of confidence. I started secondary school there, and soon my main focus was figuring out how to complete all exercises as soon as possible, and as fast as possible, and as easy as possible, and as quickly as possible. And as an example, one of the tasks I get there was in Photoshop class. We get this portrait of a writer, in this case Stephen King, and we needed to digitally manipulate the portrait using only punctuation marks, so commas or hyphens or dashes, commas for the eyes or brackets for the mouth, stuff like that. And my first question was, why would I do it in Photoshop instead of Illustrator? But it needs to be done in Photoshop. So I was immediately asked, how can I do it so as fast as possible? And my first thing what I did is went to the filters menu, pixelate, color halftone, and voila, my portrait was ready. It's made full of out of dots, and that are punctuation marks, and also my score on that task was very circular as well. So after 6 years of making myself really popular at school, it was time for college. And in college, I went to the Karel de Grote Hogeschool, also St. Lucas, where I started the study of graphic design. I think most of you know when the word graphic design pops up at people you know, hell breaks loose, and before I knew, I was spending most of my time designing wedding invitations for like Ellen and Ruben, Ineke, Stefan, Karen, Chris, Lena, Rudy, Lisbeth and Dirk, Sarah and Dries, and a lot more couples. And then as soon as they were married, they started to have children, and then I made cards for a lot of kids. Voila. A lot more babies. And then when they were bored making babies, they all started companies. And I made logos for a lot of companies for friends. This one, very nice. Actually, quite a fun. But yeah, I'm studying, so I can't or I need to spend my time not only making logos. Of course, I need to divide my time between different things. So next to that, I organized parties. Voilà. And we made the point of it to make it very nice parties with unnecessary amounts of decorations, which I designed as well. The audience was going wild, and then we, for the orchestra, I started to make stages as well, or design stages. Voila, voila, voila. Super fun to do together with friends, but till today I still design these stages. I think I did 25 of them by now. Me was very happy, clients were very happy, the audience was very happy. The only ones that weren't so happy were my teachers. In fact, they were really good teachers, as I know for now, not so much then. But they were a little bit frustrated, of course, because they didn't see me a lot. And at last I graduated, and the comment on my degree was, I think said it all, it was een efficiënte combinatie van slimme luiheid. In English, it's an efficient combination of smart laziness. And that, from that point, I was like, yeah, of course I knew better. I wasn't lazy. I think my time priorities were a little bit different. And I started working, and along the way, I figured out how to use this combination in a good way. Or at least in a way that others found acceptable. Most important, being lazy or being smart, lazy, or the combination isn't about how can I work less. That's really the lazy side. It's more about how can I work faster or more easy or more efficient. And I have 6 advices that I use in my work attitude that I wouldn't recommend just to follow. But for me, it works, and yeah, it's just, you can see what you do with it. But advice 1 is, when doing a job, try to narrow down the problem. That's what I did at school most of the time, try to narrowing down the problem. And one example where we did that is for Skill. Skill is a power tool brand. Anyone heard of Skill yet? It's not the biggest brand in Belgium, but they are really big in the US. In fact, they are the inventors of this circular saw, and that's why in America it's called the skill saw. So they are big in the US and growing in Europe. And we had the opportunity to rebrand their website. Their current website was like, yeah, very typical power tool look and feel, with all the dust and men's working and big bold fonts and stuff like that. And what they want was, in their new vision, they would wanted to lose the manly power tool style, and they wanted more to be more like Polestar or Sonos. So it's totally different, very clean, very wide. For us, it was like, yeah, it's totally different in terms of styling on the spectrum. But Skill is a demanding client. We don't want to disappoint them, so we started thinking about it. And first thing we did is, if we look at a job, we see a lot of tasks that need to be done. We have the power style versus minimalism problem. They had a major multi-language problem. The site contained 30 languages or something in 4 different scripts. We did an information architecture, we did the wireframe, concept design, detail design, documentation. This part, we were concerned about it. The first 2, we had a little bit sorrows. First thing we did to break down this first problem is we just schemed out for each style, the power tool style, minimal style, what defines them and how can we break it up in terms of what defines the style, the color, typography, white space, roundness, the feel, overall feel, the photography and stuff like that. And we just write down what defines for a power tool brand the color. That's not correct. Color is not bold capital, but typography is. The colors is red, black, white, and gray. The white space, no white space for power tool styles, really cramped everything. While at the minimal style there's a lot of white space, no roundness and some roundness, dusty and manly feel, clean and neutral feel, photography the same. So what we did is we went to see what do we really need for each style to make that combination to keep the power tool feel, but also this minimal style. And what we came up with, and that's the second advice, don't overthink this. It's very simple to say that, and it's more maybe a too simplistic way to look at this problem, but it worked for us, so don't overthink. And what we did for skill, they had, apart from the colors, I think the brand colors were red, black, and gray, and then the logo, I think this were the 2 only elements that were set in stone. And then this graphical element called the power stripe, and it's a really basic element. It's just the red shape, but it was quite important for them since it was like the perfect angle of a sawtooth in a circular saw and stuff like that. So that was the element we started with. And our design was this one, and what we did is we used this power stripe there on the top left in the navigation. And then for the rest, we really stick to this scheme we made. So we really made a combination between the power tool style and this very minimalistic style. So what you see immediately is lots of white space, still bold fonts, full caps fonts for the titles, but a little bit smaller, not that big, but a little bit more big. And then the most important thing that defines the feel on this website is the fact that we, for all product pages, and that's the most important pages for page for them, we always placed this cutout image on a white background at first, and then placed the more manly, dusty power tool images. So at first sight, you get this more like Polestar look and feel, but without losing the typical power tool style. So for the rest, really pured out, no unnecessary lines or shapes of stuff like that. Let's see another couple of pages. So again, really lots of white space, lots of pured out design. For the search, we really turned it upside down and worked on a darks mode for this one. Mobile is built like this. So we really liked the end result. Skill was very happy, so we did the good job there. The third advice I can give you is, or what I use in my work, is think about results over the activities or the way to the result. I don't know who knows this kid. Maybe. That's Luna Drouart. It's a girl that was murdered in 2006, I think, together with her au pair Ulematu by Hans van Thames, I think here in Antwerp. And with the orchestra I was playing in, we decided 10 years after these events we decided to play a requiem for her, called Requiem for Luna. And for me, it was, I think the most difficult task or design I ever did, because it was, very emotional, of course. The parents were involved as well, and there was a lot of stakeholders. The profit went to a charity, so there was money needed. It was a campaign that we launched that had to be some kind of commercial without the need of being too commercial because of the topic. And I was like thinking, mainly thinking, what can I do as a campaign visual to make sure I met all the requirements. The organization went really nervous because after 2 months I didn't show everything to them. And after 2 months I came up with this one. So they waited 2 months for a balloon that's made out of 4 shapes. And they, of course, were a little bit shocked because they thought I would come up with something more spectacular after 2 months. But at the end I can't convince them to go with this design. Because for me it felt totally right. We have the moon for Luna. It's a balloon that's leaving us. So it had the right integrity. It's not too dark. It's still playful, still hopeful. So for me it was okay, but maybe the road to it couldn't be more efficient or better. But I really was thinking with this end result in mind and not with the way to reach it. The organization was convinced in the end, but it was a risk. During these 2 months of thinking, I focused mainly on the end result. And in case my proposal failed, if they don't like it, it would fail big. You don't have the space to make errors, because it's okay to fail if you do the things in the conventional way. If you do a lot of checkups along the way, you have the room to fail because you have the time to adjust and stuff like that. If you would just be silent for 2 months and then show them a balloon, it is a risk. So if it fails big. Fourth advice is to relativate yourself. Good is good enough. It's a thing that I think a lot about. Most of the times. This is a family planner. I have 2 kids, and when running a family, you need a lot of planning. Planning is key, so we started to search for a planner that we could put on the wall. We started searching and we found online this one. It's a whiteboard with an agenda with room for notes, room for to-dos, per kid rooms for lists and stuff like that. Endless possibilities in our eyes. It was perfect, but it didn't work at all. Why not? Because they foreseen so much room and space for things that nothing actually fit in. Because the 1 week I had 10 activities, my kid had non-activities, tried to fit it in here. The other week it was the other way around, so it was pure mess, pure chaotic. And I decided to make my own family planner. I thought half a year about my wife kept asking, are you going to make the planners? And I came up with this one. Voilà. And it worked this time because it's just a whiteboard with 5 days on it or 7 days on it. And it's super flexible if you can just write it. And I think 7 years by now it's hanging on the wall and we still use it. So the less design can be better, not the other way around. And sometimes just good is good enough. And this also applies when dealing with UX or UI problems sometimes. For instance, I attended a talk, I think 2 years ago, with my colleague Ott in Copenhagen, and there was this talk by Ayla Newhouse. She's an experience director at Nordea. It's a big bank in Scandinavia, or I think Denmark or Sweden. And she noticed that her design team had a lot of tasks, of course, but one of her main tasks was, like many others, she struggled to maintain consistency over different digital products. And her team was spending months a year on making sure that every blue button was the same blue button on iPad or on or a mobile app or a website, facing difficulties like working with decentralized teams, product offerings, different platforms, different technologies, stuff like that. You start to wonder in common things, how can we manage to to make sure that button A and button B are exactly the same, because you all see the difference. This is 24 pixels, rounded corners, this 32. The blue is different, this is more bold than this one, the icon is different. So a lot of problems. But then she discovered what time and effort are we putting in making sure to have consistent buttons or the perfect design system, stuff like that. And she started asking for who is this important? Of course, for themselves as a designer, this is really important. But they also started customers. And it turned out that for customers, it's important how they see the brand, how they feel the brand, but they all see just the blue button. They don't bother whether it's bold or semi-bold or 24 or 26 pixels. They don't care at all, they just see a blue button, and as long as it's the brand blue, sort of, it's okay. Good is good enough also on design systems. Don't chase perfection, it only costs a lot. Another example, good is good enough. This was 2 years ago, the campaign from Disneyland. Didn't make it, unfortunately, because it's pure genius, in my opinion. They were celebrating the 30th anniversary, and this was their campaign visual. And at the same time, Bobbe Jaanland released their new logo. It looked like this. So you clearly can see the difference in quality here. Reactions on this one were very bad. It was like everyone was laughing what a crappy logo they made. But in fact, I didn't bother that much because for me it was pretty perfect for what Bobbe Jaanland is. If you go to Disneyland looks like this. Bobbe Jaanland looks like this. So they don't pretend to be something different than what they are. They're just making a logo for what they are. And so I don't think it's a bad logo, it's just an honest logo. And good is good enough. So. Also, in terms of UX, if we get at Monkshot the question to build a dashboard for Van Sot, for instance, we didn't need to make the perfect dashboard or the most accessible dashboard on earth and award-winning designs. It's just a dashboard. There are a lot of dashboards, so we don't bother that much. It's a good dashboard and good is good enough. Fifth advice, learn from others. You work a lot with different people, different approaches. And I'm not the only one that thinks about getting things done faster or better. I once came up with this sketch or stage design for a concert, and it was built or meant to be built with 200 cubes, rectangular cubes like 1 meter high, and they needed to be transparent. My budget, like always, was €1,000. And of course, I'm not alone building these stages. I have a building team that helps me. And one of the members of my team is this man, Albert. And together we built most of the stages I designed. Unfortunately, he passed away like 2 years ago. But he always had the most clever ideas to build things fast and easy and cheap. And this is how he made these 200 cubes. Let's play. It's pure genius, in my opinion. And in like half a day, he built 200 cubes. And the stage, in the end, looks like this. So it's really cool, and even now when I'm designing stages or designing or building them, for a lot of problems I think, how would Albert fix this problem? And I really learned from him in terms of getting things done easy and fast. Unizo, it's another brand we did a redesign for at Monkey Shot. Had a rebranding done by, I think, Today agency, and we did the digital translation for their website. And Today also, they did a rebranding mainly focused on print and stuff like that, but not so digital. But they added one sketch in their style guide, this sketch on how they could think a website could look. In fact, we really liked it, and we had a chance to completely redesign it. We really started with the sketch that Today had foreseen, because in our opinion it matched perfectly the brand and was very good for us. And the first thing we did is we kept very close in touch with them alongside the project. So really we kept in touch, and we learned more about how they think about brand and design. I hope they learned from us on how to work with accessible colors and stuff like that. But it really ended up in a project, in a website that where you notice that the brand feel they intended is really pushed through this digital website. Unless it was made by two different agencies, you really see this consistency and this brand feel. The only thing needed here was clear communication, a lot of syncs and a lot of communication between two teams. And this is my last advice to make it all work, to be able to be lazy or smart, but mainly lazy. This is my last tip, communicate smart. Justify your choices. If you make choices in your head and you make them, if your choices make a balloon out of a circle and the moon, justify why you did it. Explain your thinking process. That's what I didn't do at school, for instance. Talk about what you didn't do and why you didn't do it. And this is the most important, explain first and show later. Never show your designs without explanation, because you need to, how can I say it? You need to prevent the need to defend your designs. You never need to be in the position to defend questions that you already thought about. So just make sure your explanation is fully correct, your thinking process is clear, and then show your design and be confident about your work. Open communication with the client is what convinced these people that working 2 months on a balloon is perfectly fine. And after I came up with the skill power brand navigation, I accidentally stumbled up this image. It's, sorry for the quality, but it's a retro box of skill. And I noticed they already used this power stripe navigation, didn't know at all. So I had a chance to use this image to convince them of this design choice and do some window dressing about my choices, but I didn't do it because I think open and honest communication is always better. And also, if it's not what you think is the best, and also if, open communication is best also, even if it's not what you think they want to hear or don't want to hear. Because design shouldn't pretend to be something it's not, and more effort doesn't mean better designs. And above all, I now spend my time doing what I like. If you do the things you want to do, you do them with less energy, with more ease and with less effort, not ending up like this. So a few years ago, my first school, and my kids' first school as well, asked me to design a new logo for them. And the first thing I did was try to convince them to stick with this logo, without success. So now they have a totally new brand which is more colorful, more playful. And I turned an event that's not so happy in my memory to a more happy event. So voila. Thanks for listening. Go visit these sites, and that's it.
Thanks a lot, Roel. That's something I think we all sometimes need to hear. At least I have stakeholders who want to make things complicated, but as a lot of big people said, like simplicity is sometimes the biggest sophistication, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are there any questions for the audience, from the audience for Roel? Yes.
Hi, I really loved it. Thank you. Obvious question: do you use AI to be even lazier? And if so, how?
I don't. So maybe maybe it's a good way to be even more lazy. But in my opinion, I think you need to put a lot of effort. You noticed in the talk before, you need to put a lot of effort in getting to know AI. In my opinion, it is still in transition. We are not fully there yet to use AI to solve creative problems. I see my job as too creative to use AI as long as you're building dashboards that are already built 500 times. AI can be a solution, but I think about my job, it's more creative. And I don't think AI is already a solution to solve creative problems. I don't think AI can come up with a balloon like I did. So yeah, I didn't do the effort to get to know AI. And that's also why the word AI wasn't in my talk. So yeah.
It's derivative language. AI is not you.
Yeah.
All right. Somebody else still? Yes.
Yeah. How often do you use lorem ipsum in your web design?
A lot, actually. Because, again, for me, if it's, of course, something I mainly use when I'm doing digital design. And for me, the lorem ipsum, I rather spend my energy in the way things work and not in the content aspect. Because for us, when designing at Monkeyshot, the content part is mainly the part that we focus mainly on the functionality, on the how things work, on how things look. The only thing when we try to avoid to use lorem ipsum, for instance, in the skill project where the multi-language was really a thing that needs to be solved, because some languages are really long, some are really short. That's a case where we really choose to not use lorem ipsum but real text to make sure that all titles are usable and all titles are, or the problem is solved. So I think you can solve it by using lorem ipsum only. So
It's not work for UX UI design.
yeah.
Right. Yes.
Thank you so much. Do you delegate some works or some processes to your team members, for example, if you don't like to do something or you're limited with time, or you try to find the way how to do it fast?
You mean if I get a task that I just want to do it, just won't or don't like to do, or? Yeah, it depends. For me, I try to do things I like to do. Of course, as a volunteer or in my freelance job, I have a little bit more space to choose what I do or don't do. That's my main job as a UX UI designer. I don't have that room to play around with it. So, but I think it's for me, it's mainly if you do what you like in general, and for me, it's designing in all kind of design. It's really broad for me. I think for me, I'm comfortable enough to design, and that's why that's how I managed to do it with a lot or with really low energy. It don't ask energy for me. It gives me energy. So it gives also the room to sometimes do jobs that you don't like, or you feel like it's more useless or stuff like that. So. For instance, making portraits out of punctuation marks.
What if you, for example, limited with time? You have some other projects, for example, and you see that you just don't have time for something.
If I don't have the time to do something good, or
Just to do something. For example, you have 2-3 projects.
yeah.
In one go, and you see that you don't have enough capacity to focus on some of.
Yeah, okay. In that case, I am by getting used to do the main job of my work as late as possible in the project. I am someone that delivers most when the pressure is really high, because I'm used to it since school. I never started with tasks if I had 2 weeks of time. I really started when I have 2 hours of time.
Deadline junkie.
Yeah, deadline junkie. Of course, again, you can be free on how you do that. More in your volunteer work or in your freelance jobs where you have the freedom to do it, to work at night or to work in weekends and stuff like that. In your main job, it's of course more regulated and more difficult to do some free roaming there. You also have to do things with clients and stuff, so it's a little bit different there, but yeah. A deadline junkie is the right word, I think.
So it means you did the balloon in 2 hours then?
Hmm?
You did the balloon in 2 hours then?
I think I did it, the actual work, in I think 4 minutes, because in my head it was already, I saw in my head all during 2 months what I was gonna do and how I was gonna do it, and if it was right and if it was feeling right. And as soon as it was clear in my head, it was like 4 minutes to build it, present it, and so yeah, it's really easy to draw a circle and a moon. So.
All right.